lots of ships on the way into Singapore.
Here, if you are wandering around Singapore, if you happen to get lost in a way, to go back to the cruise center, go to the taxi driver, tell them Singapore Cruise Center. Over to the left hand side, all the way inwards is where our central business district, which will be our financial district. We will be going past there later on. But just to tell you, inside our financial district, there are more than 133 banks from more than 55 countries have their operations inside here. Banks such as HSBC, Citibank, RBS, ANZ, Maybank, IBG, and etc. etc. Singapore is a small country as mentioned. We do not have any resources, but what we do have is lots of people, 5.3 million. Most of the trades we do here in Singapore will include banking, finance, biochemical, pharmaceutical, and tourism. Over for the pharmaceutical side, most of the factories is all over to the west hand side of Singapore. In Singapore, we'll think of it as a shape of a crab. Imagine a crab. Oh, I'm hungry. Okay, imagine the shape of a crab. Okay, the Singapore River is right at the bottom, near to the mouth of the crab. Whereas the factories, the pharmaceuticals, the ports, warehouses, most of them are over to your west hand side. Whereas on the east side, it's more or less the financial district, where most of the public houses are, public estates.
走走。我们要上去。这里。
How this building is. This is the only building in Singapore which has gargoyles at the top of the building. We call it the Gotham City of Singapore. And this is the only building in Singapore where they have big grown men with balls hanging out. So if you look at the top, each of those grown men, they have big silver balls right in front of them. So from there onwards, it's basically reclaimed land. Back in the times, when I was still a primary school student, back in 1980s, my school textbook tells me Singapore's land size is 698 square kilometers. 20 years later, Singapore's land size is 714.
Right hand side, okay. Currently it's the Malay Heritage Center, but previously this is where the Sultan stays. The Sultan is, in the translation, actually means the king. The king, translation in Malay, means yellow mansion because it's yellow. But the Temenggung, the Prime Minister, used to stay at this building also. But over this building, it's been converted into a restaurant. Whereas the Sultan, the palace, has been converted into a Malay Heritage Center, which tells you more about the Malays within Singapore and the Southeast Asian areas. So we're going to walk down and we're going to walk around these few blocks here before coming up to the bus again. While walking, you can see some trees. Those are the glam trees. Kampong Glam is named after all these trees, called the glam tree.
Well, let's have to keep everybody in line. Oh my.
This design, if you look all the way to the top, you can actually see the symbol of Islam, having a new moon, representing that it is a new religion, just about 300 years old only. The star, the 5-pointed star, refers to the 5 main points of being Muslim, being Islam. First, there's only one true God, Allah. Second, you have to pray 5 times every day. Third, you have to go through fasting every year so that you can understand the pain of starvation. Fourthly, you have to give donations every year. And lastly, you need to visit Mecca in the whole life. Once you have to visit Mecca, which is the starting place, the origin point of Islam.
And those seated over to your left hand side, very shortly we will be driving past the Parkview Square again. Parkview Square, the tall building with the gargoyles and the guys with the metal balls at the top, which you may be able to go into, other than the shops, other than the restaurants, is the Long Bar. The Long Bar is the restaurant that invented the Singapore Sling, a very famous cocktail. So for the Singapore Sling, there are 2 versions. One is of course the one with alcohol, and another one is the Virgin Sling, no alcohol involved. It is quite a sweet cocktail. Guys normally they don't enjoy it because it's too sweet. It has been struck twice by lightning. Over to your left hand side.
St. Andrew's Cathedral.
They still have services being held inside this cathedral every weekends, Friday, Saturday. Beside this Parliament House, you can get to see the Singapore River. To the left hand side, buildings. To the right, shop houses. There is Hokkien Street, if I'm not mistaken. In this region, you get to see more of the shop houses I was referring to a little bit earlier just now. you are able to look out through the windows, try to look upwards, you get to see a very big creature at the top looking down at us. This is the year of the snake. Just less than one street away, you get to see the Sri Mariamman Temple, the oldest Hindu temple here we have in Singapore. And just another 2 streets away, you get to see the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple for our Buddhist friends. Well, mentioned a little bit earlier, today is a public holiday in Singapore. Some shops, or rather most of the shops are not open, but some definitely they will be open. So later when we walk around, if you see anything interesting, well, just go ahead. But we are stopping around this region. Our bus will be here around the region also. I do not know where, but we'll see how it goes later on.
Now the time is about 12:15. Half an hour later, we meet up around this region garden. Okay, so what you can do is, if you want, once you can visit the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple, there is a public toilet just around this corner.
Okay, we will be driving past Orchard Road. Orchard Road is our main shopping district, 3 kilometers long, more than 10,000 shops. But today being a holiday, maybe only half of them are open. But there's still at least 5,000. Okay.